It's time for Nico Kleynhans, exclusively on Breakfast with Friends.
Oh, yes, it is such an honor and a privilege to be saying a good morning to Mr. Nico Kleynhans and trusting that you can hear us nice and clearly. Mr. Nico?
I can hear you fine. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. Good. By
Yes.
the head shaking I am. I'm speaking to you from the Netherlands, from a hotel in Amsterdam right now. And in many ways, I'm making history because this is the first time we are trying this particular experiment.
Yes.
And I'm choosing the Netherlands because this is where my ancestry comes from. Many, many years ago, over 300 years ago, an ancestor of mine left an island here called Tessel and came down to the Western Cape. He fled the Netherlands because, as a family tradition, he got into trouble with the government around here. And when he arrived there, the dominee was really worried that he was going to live in sin because he didn't know anybody. And the dominee reminded him that a shipload of Norwegian orphans were about to land in the Cape. And if he stood on the docks that day and he chose one of the young maidens coming off the ship, they could get married immediately. Then he would get a dowry, or she would get a dowry. They could then live and have as many babies as they liked. God would not be upset, and they could then multiply and do what the Bible said they were supposed to do. He took up the offer. He chose a young woman called Vollenhoven, was her surname, and off he went to go and multiply and be fruitful, which apparently was the goal of those particular days. He made wagon wheels. That was the chosen profession that he did, and all went well for about 5 years until he got into trouble because he didn't want to be Dutch speaking. He was actually German speaking, and so he had to pack his family up and fled to Paarl, where he got settled down.
My goodness.
Well, that was where he got started. So what is it like if today you want to go back to your homeland, which is technically where we came from, and go and get a visa? Well, the visa is quite simple. It costs around 6,000 rand to get a visa to come to visit your homeland. And one of the things you have to do is you've got to get life cover. And in my case, I had to get 7.5 million rands worth of life cover. And I had to get 4.5 million rands worth of medical aid cover because they don't trust South Africans coming out. Yeah, we are going to damage their system. I guess I can understand that part of it. The other thing that I've noticed since I was last in the Netherlands is that nobody uses cash to pay for anything out here. You cannot pay for cash. If you come along with some notes and you want to pay for it, they're going to laugh at you. You have to use tap and pay, which means you have to have a bank account in euro. And then you can buy bread, you can buy milk, you can get on the tram, you can get on the train, you can do anything you like, provided you have a tap and pay system. And when you get on a bus, you rent the bus per hour. So when you get on, you've got to tap and pay. When you get off, you've got to tap and pay again. If you get on and tap and pay and you forget to tap and pay when you get off, you're going to pay for the rest of the day as if you're driving around on buses. So it gets to be very expensive if you forget to do that. That's when it starts becoming a problem, because at the end of the day, you're going to realize you were driving around on that bus for 24 hours, and that was not what you intended doing. The same for a train journey. So what we did ahead of time, of course, we went to our bank and we got a foreign debit card, and we began to build up our currency a year ago so that we got good rates when the rates were good in our favor, built up a fair amount of currency, and got all of that going then it was just a matter of making sure we understood how the taps work. Then the other thing that was very good is now you've got to get a local phone card, because in South Africa you've got a RICA. You don't have to RICA in the Netherlands. Here they actually trust their citizens. We're not a bunch of scallums like we are in South Africa. Here you just go and get yourself a SIM card, and it takes a couple of seconds. And here to get about 60 gigs of data will cost you about 200 rand. You've got to use that data within 2 weeks. Then the SIM card goes on pension and you've got to go and get another SIM card. I had to go to hospital the other day because of just not feeling well. I just had the sniffles. Now, that's quite simple. You get a taxi to take you to the hospital. This is on Saturday night at about midnight. The taxi takes you there. That's about €35. So it's going to cost you some money. You get into a hospital and you are number 2 in the queue. The doctor makes you wait a whole 3 minutes before he'll see you. He then does his thing. You pay him, and then you claim from your insurance, which you've already bought before you left the country. And he does everything he needs to do in those 3 minutes. And an hour later, you're back in your hotel again. The Dutch complain because how bad it is that you've got to wait for 3 minutes to see a doctor. They should come down and see what it's like in our hospitals down there, where you're lucky if you're going to get out the same day.
Exactly.
But it is incredible how sophisticated it can be out here and how bad we've put up with nonsense in our own country. Even if you go privately there, you're not going to see a doctor within 3 minutes. But what is good out here is fashion buying. Now, Rachel, I don't know why I thought of you, but I was trying to get some really fancy shoes, but really fancy stuff. Now, you go here to special department stores that only sell end of line because they have 4 fashion periods, and then the things get sold for dirt cheap. So for the equivalent of 1,500 rand, you can get 2 pairs of the latest tackies.
What?
Absolute fashion that will not be available in South Africa for another 4 months.
What?
That's
And
incredible.
you can get this stuff ahead of time so that when you finally get back to Cape Town, you can show off and get quality stuff that is not going to be available for less than half the price that you would pay when it finally hits the South African shores. So there are things that are nice. It is beautiful out here. We're having better weather than you're having down there in Cape Town. But I am having fun, and I am looking forward to relaxing and chilling and then getting back to the grind of Cape Town and the terrible traffic that we have. And here, the trams apologize when they are 30 seconds late. That is so much nicer than in Cape Town, where they will apologize after 2 days of not running. But I'm having fun, and if you want a very different kind of holiday and you've saved up enough, it is worth coming out here and just enjoying what it's like when the country is not as broken as ours is.
Yeah.
Sure. Gives you
Have a good day, folks.
Thank you so much, Nico. Yeah, that gives you a very, very different perspective. We appreciate you and enjoy your holiday, enjoy your time away, and God bless you.
Enjoy the break.
Thank you very much.
Take
There we
care.
go. Take care.